Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Vechain. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure you watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now let's jump straight into the TA. So taking a look at the daily chart, you can see that we have a channel down pattern and we're breaking out of that pattern right now, starting in January this year, and we're moving up impulsively to the upside. This is very good. We also have a small Fibonacci retracement with the swing low in December this year, or I should say last year, and November swing high last year, with a 1.618 target at 0.04119 cents. And we've already broken above the first fib level, so we are on our way to that target. The minimal target is going to be the 1.272 fib level at 0.0334, and the 1.414 is going to be at 0.03640 cents. Now, if you don't know how to use the Fibonacci retracement, make sure you check out the description. There's a video linked where I explain how to use the Fibonacci retracement. It's a very important part of my technical analysis, so it's best that you know and understand how it works. Also, there is a large Fibonacci retracement at play here. So we have the swing high all the way back in November of 2021 and the swing low back in May of 2021. We retraced down below the 1.618, which was our technical target. Again, after you lose the first fib level, the 1.618 is your target. But in this instance, we have the extension levels to the downside. However, on the smaller fib, we have the extension levels to the upside. Okay, so check out that video, like I said, one more time. If you don't know how to use the fib retracement, it's very important. So ideally, where we want to see Vechain go up right now in this impulsive move, if we were to continue, of course, and if we are not to have any retracements coming soon, which I hope we do because we're getting quite overextended on a lot of altcoins. So this resistance block here that we have is something that I want to retest, because this is a support level that we've held in January last year, in February, in March, in April, and we lost it in May with the Luna crash, of course. So coming back up to retest that as resistance and then see a move back down potentially is going to be a very good statement, because that will essentially be an uptrend. We want to be breaking this high, this August 2022 high, and that's very important, because if we retrace into that same resistance one more time and we get rejected from the exact same level, that's going to be negative, and we're going to be sent all the way back down, probably back to this blue support block that we have, which is around about the 1.618 fib level at 0.02362 cents. So the support block is set anywhere between that 1.618 and all the way down to 2 cents essentially. So all the way down to 2 cents is a good buying area. Of course, below that is even better, but this is a support block that we've held. We back tested it as support. As you can see, if I zoom in, let me just remove some of this so it's not as distracting. So as you can see, we broke below this support block, then we broke above, we had a back test of support, and then we went above the upper trend line of the support block, and then we back tested it as support and had another bounce to the upside. So this is looking bullish for now, although the gap between the EMAs is getting fairly large. Also, the price is very overextended from the 20 EMA, and if we take a look at the RSI, you can see that we're printing a bearish divergence, and this typically ends with a pullback. So we have the RSI printing a lower high. However, the price action is printing a higher high. So this is a bearish divergence, and this typically happens when the bulls are running out of strength and the price keeps rising, but the strength of the trend is not rising at the same time. It's actually falling down, and that's a negative sign, because if we do get a pullback, that's great for anyone looking to buy into Vechain, obviously. But if we take a look at the daily RSI here, you can see that we came back down with a perfect bounce off of this support block that I gave you based off of this low in November. That was a nice bounce towards the upside into the overbought once again. That's where you could have taken some profits. around about 0.032 cents. And from there, you're already seeing a 7% pullback, but I would be looking at a buyback potentially at 0.02621, as that is our next immediate support below the 20 daily EMA. That's a 19% pullback. So hopefully that's going to play out. That's a good swing trade there if anyone was looking to get into that. If we do end up crashing lower on the daily RSI, I would be looking at the pink trend line as a good entry, because every time we have a bounce off of that, as you can see, we do see a pretty strong move to the upside. So hopefully if we see another dump, we do bounce right off that, and that's going to be a nice entry. Now let's switch over to the Binance weekly chart just to see what's going on there. Jumping into the weekly chart, as you can see, we have retraced all the way up to our technical target here, which was the technical target from this falling wedge that we were targeting for a very long time now. As you can see, this bounce that we had off the support trend line in December took us all the way up to the technical target. That's a nice 2x trade. And that was the technical target just because that's where the falling wedge was created. So anyone entering here is now able to take profits and hopefully wait for a pullback maybe and enter off the 20 EMA potentially. That's going to be a nice 27% discount. Also, I would look at the top of this green support block as a good entry, as well, as we're holding that as support right now throughout 2023, but we may just come back down and potentially retest the either the top of the falling wedge, or I should say the previous resistance of the falling wedge. We could come back down there if we see a strong capitulation, but I highly doubt that unless Bitcoin does anything drastic and moves down quite a bit, below $19,000 to $18,000. Otherwise, I don't think we're going to be going down to this low, but it is important that we hold this December low, because if we don't and we crash back down and we print a lower low, that is going to be negative, as we're simply going to be continuing the downtrend. And what we're hoping for right now, or at least what everyone seems to be hoping for, is that we're going to be starting an uptrend from here. But to do that, we need to break this major resistance level that we created in August. As we did break the November high, that was bullish. Our next target is the August high, and afterwards we can target the 0.0445 resistance, which is the March low of last year. And Bitcoin needs to do the exact same thing as well. We're failing to break above the August high on Bitcoin. Once that happens, then we can be more bullish long term. Now, taking a look at the weekly RSI, as you can see, we've had quite the strong break to the upside. And usually when you have these sort of moves to the upside, you typically see a pullback afterwards, sometimes stronger than most times. But you can see when we had this move in July of 2021 into August, we had a pullback. We had one into November of 2021. We had a stronger pullback. We had a move to the upside in March 2022. Then we had a pullback. But all of these pullbacks are because of major bearish events, obviously, and there's always something dragging the markets down. So potentially there's going to be something that's going to crash the markets back down here. Maybe we're going to get something going on before the next year's president election in the US. So maybe something's going to happen there, and we might have a strong crash before we eventually start pumping into the bull market. But if you're looking for good entries on the weekly RSI, just to kind of combine that with the price action, you could be looking at the support trend line over here, which is what we broke above here in January. So we retested that as resistance in August. We came back down, printed the low, and then we broke above. So maybe this is going to be where we come back down for a back test of support. Now, taking a look at the stochastic, we're still in the oversold here. I have the settings set up 54 and 28 is what I have for the settings. That's just because I don't want a lot of false signals. Obviously, you can move it and play around with the settings just so you can see whatever works best for you. But this is also very good for the daily chart. For example, if I jump into the daily, you can see that we're in the overbought right now on the daily. So based off of this indicator on the daily, this is a good area to take some profits, as the last time we were in the overbought was back in September of 2021 when we saw that next pullback into October. So potentially we're going to see a pullback sometime soon. Maybe the FOMC meeting is going to have some bearish news for us, and maybe they're planning to have another 50 basis points hike. But I don't know. I wouldn't believe that, but some investors are starting to think that. And Jerome Powell obviously is trying to get everyone to turn bearish, as well as some US banks are already saying that, well, they're thinking that the stock market is going to see a pretty strong crash sometime soon. Also, the MACD is doing pretty well here. As you can see, we're trying to get above the histogram here. Everything's looking bullish. Obviously, this is a lagging indicator, so this is not going to give you any strong giveaways as to where the market is headed, but this was a pretty strong giveaway in July. So you could have been buying throughout that dip after we got the bullish cross, as the previous time we got the bullish cross was in March, but that was followed by the Luna crash. Before that, we saw the bullish cross in October 2021, and we had the move to the upside in November. And before that, we saw a major bullish cross in December of 2020, and you all know what happened afterwards. So this bullish cross was definitely a good entry point or a good signal for anyone looking to enter Vechain. That wasn't specifically the bottom for Vechain, but that was a strong signal that the trend has been reversed on the weekly chart on the MACD. So that is pretty much everything that I wanted to cover for Vechain. If we're looking for long-term targets, so let's just quickly slap a fib retracement on, just because I know some people really want to know the long-term targets. So we're going to be looking roughly at $1.40 per token at the end of the next bull market. Hopefully that's going to play out, because that's the 1.618 from the bottom here. That will be a 9,000% move to the upside. From where we are right now, that would be a 4,732% move to the upside, and from the all-time high, that is going to be pretty much a 5x. So yeah, I think this is pretty doable. That's pretty much everything. If I missed out anything important on the charts, please let me know down below in the comment section. Feel free to follow me on Twitter and Patreon. All the links are going to be down below in the description. Have a great day, and goodbye.